Welcome to Third Eye Ajna Chakra Yoga Sequence. One of the things this chakra is about is to learn to trust your intuition. To trust our intuition, we need to know ourselves very well, and movement is one of the best ways to get to know ourselves and improve our self awareness and self reflection. We are starting this sequence in child's pose, paying attention to the contact between our palms, forearms, elbows, shins, tops of feet, and forehead with the ground to help us feel grounded. We are breathing whatever feels good in that particular moment, and you can massage the forehead by moving your head side to side. You can come up on all fours with hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and do a few cat cows by opening up your chest, bringing your head up, and curling your back down, and moving into a cat by curling your back up and lowering your head, closing your chest, and then back to child's pose. Coming out from child's pose and doing a few cat cows. As you breathe in, curl your back down, open up your chest, and lift your head up. And as you breathe out, curl your back up, close up your chest, and lower your head. And keep moving with breath. Taking cat cow movement to the next level by breathing in into a cat, then curving your back towards your right side, squeezing your left side, then moving into a cow, then squeezing your right side, stretching left side of the trunk, and then coming back into a cat and repeating this in one direction and then switching directions a few times in each direction. Meeting in child's pose. As you finish cat cow stretch, come down into child's pose for a few breaths. Moving from child's pose through tabletop, tucking your toes, lifting your hips up into a downward dog. You can pedal your feet, you can move your head side to side or up and down, or just find stillness. Lift your heels up, bend your knees, and step forward towards your hand into a forward fold. Come halfway up, breathe out, and forward fold. While in forward fold, you can either find stillness or you can move your arms side to side. You can grab elbows and move side to side, move your head side to side, up and down, or once again find stillness. As you breathe in, come up, arms up. As you breathe out, hands to heart. Breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, dive into a forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold. Step back into a plank, lower your knees, keeping your thighs and trunk and head in one line. lower down about halfway, and open up into a baby cobra by opening up your chest and lifting your head up. From baby cobra through tabletop, move into a downward dog. Lift your heels up, bend your knees, and step forward towards your hands into a forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Bring your arms up as you breathe in, hands to chest. As you breathe in, arms up. As you breathe out, forward fold. And step back into a plank. You can either do the variation of sun salutation we just did of the knees, or do a variation where you, from high plank, lower your body down to about 4 inches of the ground, and then lower your hips, and open up your chest and bring your head up into a upward dog while the tops of your feet are in contact with the ground. From upward dog, tucking your toes in, lifting your hips up to the sky into a downward dog. Taking a breath, then lifting your heels up, knees down, travel to the top of the mat, and go through about 3-4 sun salutations of your choice, meeting in downward dog. You can stay in downward dog or come down into a child's pose for a few breaths. From child's pose, coming up into a downward dog. Lifting left leg up, bringing the left knee towards your chest and nose, stepping left foot between your hands, back foot at about 45 degrees angle, front knee about 90 degrees, and right knee straight but soft, not locked. Staying in warrior one with arms up, facing forward. Bringing right arm and left arm down to the shoulder height, opening them up, facing the right side while the head faces the front left hand. staying in warrior two for a few breaths. Bringing right arm down, left arm up, lengthening through the spine, staying in reverse warrior for a few breaths, looking up towards the left hand for added balance challenge. Coming back to warrior two, lengthening through the trunk, lowering left elbow onto your left thigh and bring the right arm up, opening up towards the right side into a side angle. Shortening your stance, straightening out both knees, keeping them straight but not locked, soft. Both feet face forward, hinging at the hips, lowering trunk down to about hip level into a pyramid. Your arms can be by your trunk or resting on your front leg. Transferring all the weight onto the left foot, lifting a right foot in line with the trunk, toes pointing forward, lifting both arms straight into a Superman type of position, holding position in Warrior 3. Down, hands onto the mat, stepping back into a plank, and moving through your variation of sun salutation, meeting in downward dog. In preparation for forearm stand, getting into a dolphin position by lowering your elbows onto the ground and walking your feet as close as possible to your elbows and staying there for a few breaths. Coming up into downward dog or child's pose to take a break. After a few breaths in child's pose, coming up into downward dog, lifting a right leg up, bringing a right knee towards your chest and nose, stepping between your hands, placing your front foot forward, right foot forward, right knee about 90 degrees angle, back foot about 45 degrees, and back foot knee straight but not locked. Arms up, trunk facing front, staying in warrior one for a few breaths. Opening up both arms at the shoulder level, facing with trunk to the left, head facing forward, the right palm, staying in warrior two for a few breaths. Lengthening through the spine, lowering a left arm down, lifting right arm up into a reverse warrior, and looking up towards the right hand for added challenge. Coming back into warrior two, lowering right elbow onto right thigh, lifting left arm up, and staying in a side angle for a few breaths. Coming up into warrior two, shortening the stance, straightening out both knees, keeping them straight but soft but not locked, feet facing forward, keeping trunk in straight line, hinging through the hips, lowering your trunk down into a pyramid, keeping arms by your sides or on your right leg. Transferring all the weight onto the right foot, lifting the left leg up, keeping it in line with the floor, toes pointing forward, lifting your arms up into a Superman position, and keeping the arms, trunk, and left leg in straight line, staying in warrior three. Hands onto the mat, stepping back into a plank, and going through your variation of sun salutation, meeting in downward dog. In preparation for a forearm stand, getting into a dolphin position by lowering the elbows down onto the earth and walking your feet as close as possible to the elbows, staying there for a few breaths. Coming back into downward dog and coming down into a child's pose for a bit of a break. From child's pose, coming up into a downward dog, traveling to the top of your mat, coming up from forward fold into a standing nice and tall, standing nice and tall, wrapping the right arm under the left arm into eagle arms, and then crossing a right knee across left leg, squatting down and to make sure you can hold balance, staying in eagle pose for several breaths. Uncrossing your arms and legs, shaking your legs, doing figure eights with your arms, switching sides. by wrapping left arm under the right and then lifting left knee, crossing it over the right leg, squatting down to make sure you can hold balance. Uncrossing arms and legs, shaking the legs, moving arms in figure eights. Coming down on the knees with shins and tops of feet in contact with the floor. Putting hands on the low of your back, opening up your chest, lifting your head up into a camel pose, staying here for several breaths. You can bring your arms towards your hamstrings or your heels if that feels good. Coming out of camel pose, laying down on your back with your knees bent and heels close to your buttocks. Lifting hips up into a bridge. You can keep your arms by your sides, or you can bring your shoulders closer together and put your palms together. Staying here for several breaths. You can stay in a bridge, or if this is part of your practice, get into a wheel and stay there for a few to several breaths. And whenever you're ready, come down into your final corpse pose, fully relaxed on the floor, feet about mat width apart, hands by your sides, just breathing whatever feels good in that moment. Stay here for as long as you need to, and whenever you're ready, come on your side, come up into sitting. Thank you very much for your practice with me. Namaste.